Hey everybody, this is James Pelton. Friday morning here, Lincoln, Nebraska. We've got about 3 inches of snow on the ground. I got breakfast with someone this morning, and the roads are a little bit. It makes you wonder why I live here, but it is what it is. It's cold every winter I think about moving, but it's too cold to move. And then by spring, it's nice enough, so I stick around. That's where I'm at. So we have another great project we're going to bring today. This is, again, one that I am extra excited about. Anytime we have gaming anything, I get a lot of nostalgia. A lot of my childhood comes back to me. Gaming's been a big part of my life and my upbringing, so always excited to bring kind of gaming projects. So we have Russell here today. Before we get into Metacade, what I need from you guys in the audience, please hit the like button, comment. How's the weather where you are? I mean, that sounds like the most boring question ever, but I legit am curious. Where should I move to? If I'm tired of the Lincoln, Nebraska, ice all over the roads half the time, where should I move to? Do you have great weather where you are? Would you recommend moving there? Are there any houses in your neighborhood that are available? Maybe we'll go that direction. So let me know. Russell, thank you for coming on today. It is an honor to have you. Could you start by just a quick introduction of yourself, and then we'll jump into Metacade?
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much for having us. Like I say, I've been a fan of your channel for well over a year now, so it's very, very surreal to be on it right now. But yeah, I'm Russell Bennett. I'm the CEO of Metacade. I originally had the role of head of products, but more recently, community voted into the CEO role. So yeah, we've had a very eventful 12 to 13 weeks. So looking forward to talking about it.
Yes, me as well. So let's go ahead and start. Again, assuming that people in the audience, they've never heard of this, what would you kind of say if you're in the elevator with somebody real quick and they say, what do you do for a living? What would you kind of tell them this project's about?
So Metacade is a multi-chain hangout for all things crypto gaming. So that's the best elevator pitch I've had so far.
Okay, wow, that was brilliant. Sometimes I tell people give an elevator pitch and it's like 15 minutes or 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and that was
10 weeks ago. It was definitely that long, that's for sure.
Yep. No, that's awesome. Okay, so then for people who are interested in that, they're like, okay, yeah, the ultimate Web3 community hub, play, earn, build, connect. Do you want to kind of walk us through maybe those four things and how those work in this ecosystem?
Yeah, absolutely. So the idea itself for Metacade was initially formed typically out of challenges and problems. A good friend of mine who's actually in the main founding team, Tony, we were heavily involved in the crypto gaming space back in 2021, enjoying that bull run. And what we used to joke about consistently was the fact that we had about 20 to 30 tabs open. We were bridging, we were multi-chaining. Not all of it was particularly intuitive. And we found that we had to probably go to about 20 different locations to get our information, check out projects. So really from a token holder perspective, this business started to take shape unbeknown to us back then. Once the market had calmed down, we started looking at the concept of, well, why isn't there a place where people, particularly gaming enthusiasts or crypto enthusiasts, can actually go and hang out? I'd say the social element is obviously split across your Discords, your Reddits, etc. So we started to form the idea and then challenge that idea with our immediate network. And what was clear was that a peer-to-peer network or platform was naturally going to form part of the next bull run, the next wave. So we looked at obviously an arcade, which is, if anyone's been watching Stranger Things and other recent seasons, then everyone enjoyed the arcade, whether you're a child or you're going through that now. Arcades are very popular now in certain bars in London and Europe. So Metacade was a very retro vibe. Hopefully that comes across in the brand. And so we decided to build a platform that has a number of areas which service the community as a whole. You can come here to look at alpha and information and look at what's trending. You can start conversation with the community. You can play games, which is obviously a lot of what we do. You can launch projects on our platform. So we're in a very clear and concise way, we're going to be effectively a platform that caters to many interests in the gaming niche.
Okay, so I love that, and yes, definitely get the retro vibe. Sometime I have an arcade machine downstairs, a retro arcade machine. It says Pelton Arcade on the top, and so I love all this. Unfortunately, my kids use it to play Lego Star Wars instead of Missile Command or Pac-Man. But it is what it is. So let's start with this play here. So, are you guys going to be developing games yourself, or are you primarily trying to bring in games that other people are bringing into this ecosystem?
So we're not a game studio or a game developer ourselves. The primary focus for the arcade, first of all, is to list games from potentially even Web 2 games, but certainly Web 3 games, get them listed in our arcade. Obviously, the benefit to game developers and studios are that they want more players, they want more users, they want traction on their games. As a platform, we'll be able to facilitate that for them, which is one of our revenue streams. We'll also have something called a meta grant. It will be a series of grants that we will initially issue to the community. So if there's someone out there that's got a game sort of 90% finished, and maybe they ran out of money or they needed some expertise or some support, people will be able to come to our platform, post their game, their ideas. The community will vote up the games that they like the look of, and then there'll be a winner, and we will fund the completion of that game. We'll engage with a commercial arrangement with the developer, and then we'll actually position that game in our arcade. We hope to see that time and time again over the next couple of years.
Okay, very good. And first question that's come up, again, audience, feel free to ask questions. I'll bring them up as they fit into the conversation. Some of them I'll probably leave for the end. I'm selfish. I always like to get my questions answered first, but I will get to your questions as well. But first off, so Mahumed's wanting to know, is it a metaverse? So what kind of gaming are you just doing retro games, or is it going to be a wide variety where you have some retro, but you also have some like metaverse virtual reality games, or what's kind of the range of games that you're looking to have?
The open brief for the arcade right now, it's not going to be niche specific or genre specific. We're going to keep it fairly open. Our community is incredibly active, and the indications are anything from sort of chess, one-on-one games, all the way through to the larger scale. We will look at, also we're considering looking at maybe seasons or series where there's a particular theme. That will come once the arcade is established. So at the moment, it's a peer-to-peer platform where if you go to, say, a Vulcan Forged or another studio where there's multiple games, you're likely to get a very similar experience with us.
Okay, very good. So that's the play. So that makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about the earn, because again, this is on my channel. This is probably, unfortunately, we're probably more interested in the earn than the play, maybe in some cases. Do you want to talk about potentials to earn and how that works in a gaming community like this?
Yes, absolutely. So we all saw the play to earn. Anyone that's been around for a little while, play to earn was the narrative, certainly over the last 18 months. That will continue. You'll have the ability to earn in some of the games listed in the arcade. The main earner is that anyone that contributes in the community area of our platform, we will be rewarding contributors, people that are clearly ambassadors of our platform and community. We'll be airdropping and rewarding individuals with MCADE tokens. The big earn is a staking pool, which is for, at the moment, the pre-salers exclusively. So anyone that supported us on this journey will have a whitelist access to our first staking pool, where we'll be providing, obviously, tokens over an agreed period of time. But the big one is the revenue stream. So if a game studio or a game developer wishes to test a gaming loop, or just get more users onto their game, they can come to us. They can list their opportunity, their gig, their bounty, their hackathon, whatever they need to achieve in their development, and they will purchase that access to our community with MCADE tokens. Those MCADE tokens will then be distributed to any participants that engage in that gig or that tournament or environment. So the game developer gets instant feedback from a very large community, and the rewards are shared with the community who engage. So that's that's a huge one. And most revenue streams in our business, we have the luxury, I suppose, of choosing whether it's in MCADE tokens, in stable coins, and all of that will be a redistribution model across our community based on the engagement levels. So we really want to start creating avenues for job opportunities. I still think that's an area of huge development. Advertising revenues are going to be huge for us. We've got a very sizable community already. So when we do get ad revenue in, we'll distribute some of that to the community. And this will consistently give us genuine revenue streams from day one, because most projects in the run-up didn't really have much utility or genuine revenue streams coming back into the project. So revenue streams are the most important thing to sustain this project and scale it.
Okay, love it. And then Mohammed has another question. And by the way, yeah, Papa Smurf, great questions. I'll bring those up here in just a minute. But he says there are a lot of online games, but not a lot of Web3 games. Are you going to be sticking to Web3 games, or are you kind of letting anybody in? I guess chess isn't really a Web3 game, which you mentioned earlier. But how do you plan on bringing, non-Web3 games into an ecosystem like this?
So a very simple way of doing that would be to bring Web2 games in just in a gated environment. So you connect your wallet to our platform. You may pay a little MCADE tokens to access some of those games, dependent on the commercial arrangement with those developers. But Web2 games, definitely. I mean, the one thing Metacade needs to become is the gateway for traditional gamers to enter the space. So it'd be very silly of us not to entertain the Web2 environment as well as the Web3. Equally as well, on the side of the Web3 games, I haven't seen anyone utilize a dual token capability in the smart contracts yet. I might be getting a bit too technical, but the one thing we're talking to one particular game development company about is dual token capability in game. So there's a good chance we might do partnerships with MCADE being one of the in-game currencies. So yeah, there's lots of opportunity now after this first wave of gaming. It's kind of laid the lands now of how things need to evolve, and dual token capability is one. And definitely looking to bring Web2 games into the space as well, just to get a wider audience looking at Metacade.
Okay, very good. No, I love that, because yeah, again, one of the things I want to do is help bring new people into crypto. And I've said this every time I talk about gaming. I think gaming is like a great avenue to get non-crypto people in. So I love that. And that leads me into this build. What kind of things are you going to be? You kind of mentioned them already a little bit, but what kind of tools or offerings or will you be offering to game studios or game developers to kind of encourage them? Hey, come build on our platform, come use our platform, come be part of this.
Yeah, so build effectively has kind of three purposes. The community, or anyone that comes to take a look at our platform that has a product or a game that's either a concept or close to completion, we can either support them or in terms of a meta grant and actually help them build out that game capability. The one thing that I don't think projects have truly grasped just yet is the value of the community, and actually converting that value of the community to benefit other projects. So I spoke at an event called Enter the Metaverse in London a couple of months back now, and I referred to it as the portability of the community. So put simply, if someone wants to come along and launch a completely brand new idea, we'll have a launch pad where our community obviously will get first access to any new projects, new ventures coming up. So build is from the ground up. Build is completing something which has been on the shelf, getting dusty. And more importantly, the community themselves will be presented with a number of opportunities to earn, not just with us, but go and earn elsewhere with other projects, because we don't necessarily have a competitor. We've got a home for everyone in the gaming space if they want to come and work with us. Okay, very good. I love it. And then last thing, and then we'll get to audience questions here in just a minute, guys. I've not forgotten about your questions. I will get to them. But let's talk about this Connect. So how big is the community right now? I think a lot of times when we're talking about new projects on my channel, some of them are like,
hey, we've got one developer and we've got 10 people in our Discord. And then, that means a lot different when you're looking at buying a pre-sale token. How big is the community? How big is the team? And you just want to kind of talk to us about how far along you guys are in what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So the community is just shy of 30,000 in Telegram. I think just over 40,000 on Twitter. So obviously some of that will be bots and things, I'm sure. And we haven't got Elon hired yet to sort that bot problem out for us.
It's coming, though. It's coming. Little alpha.
So for me, what I've noticed from talking to gaming companies is that as long as you can prove you have a strong human element to your community and prove it beyond any reasonable doubt, all of these projects are very interested in posting their opportunities on our platform to allow actual human beings to engage with those projects. So Connect itself from a community is the community themselves will be presented with a number of gigs and opportunities each week where they can go and work with another gaming studio facilitated by Metacade and maybe earn some tokens in that environment, but Metacade being the facilitating platform to achieve that. But our community, there's a few trends, a few narratives going on internally. The culprits know who they are. But our Telegram, I have to say, and it may be a biased comment, the sentiment is incredibly good.
Okay, awesome. And then, some audience questions. Can you tell me what you think of game developers out there looking to publish their games, but are scared of losing ownership to partners?
Yeah, it's a big thing. And it's a very good question. The gaming developers that come into our environment, they will have the opportunity to sit down should they wish to co-build with us as a joint venture, or simply list. The creator, and the creator in this case is the priority. Revenue models will support the creator over anyone else. We're a platform that facilitates as many creators as possible, purely because an empty arcade is not a good arcade. And we want as much variety as possible for everyone. So contracts, even the smart contract element is absolutely key. Having complete ownership over your IP, all of those factors need to be taken into consideration if you're JVing with anyone.
Yep, absolutely. And this goes along with my next question. So let me bring this up. Let's see. There are almost 10,000 games on Steam. Does Metacade aim to reach a similar volume in the long term? So I kind of want to roll that into my question about what does the roadmap look like for you guys? Like, what's the goal? If everything goes according to plan, where are you guys at in a year, in 3 years? Do you want to just walk us through the roadmap a bit?
Yeah, of course. And I'm glad to see the little man's working on the website. That took forever.
It's very cool. It's fun.
Yeah, it's good fun. Well done, devs. So our roadmap, we actually are literally in the last 48 hours proud to say that our beta platform has started development. The intention is to focus primarily on the community areas and the arcade. So we'll be getting the trending, the community, and the arcade up and running as first priority over the next 6 months. Game listings will follow shortly after. As a result of that, as soon as we have activity on the platform, advertising revenue and revenue streams will start kicking in. You can't sell advertising on an empty platform, so we have to populate it first. So there's a real sensible phasing of the product. There's effectively 4 key areas to the platform. Once all of those 4 areas are built out, a couple of them are fairly simple, so they'll be done very quickly. We will have a fully working platform where projects will be able to directly engage, post their opportunities. We'll be able to list the games. In terms of getting to the dizzy heights of 10,000 games, I would love to have those server issues in the future.
Right.
The most important thing about the recent development, though, is we are going to be going multi-chain from the start. A lot of our community has fed back the ETH as a primary blockchain. Could be problematic, and if gas fees rise, etc. There's various gasless opportunities coming out, and seeing what AVAX has done this week with the announcement with Tencent. I think AVAX subnets are going to really change the game and challenge Matic maybe on the gaming front. So yeah, it's all to play for, and I've been assured by our devs that multi-chain is possible from day one. So that's pretty good news.
Okay. Yep. That was actually a question in the audience was, are you planning on going cross-chain? So I know developers too, they watch these AMAs just holding their breath. What is he going to say? What's he going to promise everybody?
I think I've just seen 3 people pass out.
Yeah, that's right. So no, very, very cool. Okay, let's talk about, so people are having questions about the pre-sale, how to get involved. I usually say that for the end, but since people are asking about it, let's talk about it now. So if you want to get involved in this, you love gaming, maybe you're in a position like me, you love gaming, you love Web3, you want to get involved, maybe financially, but at least be part of the community. What are like the best ways to get involved?
So the best ways to get involved, obviously go to our website, metacade.co. You'll be presented with the pre-sale page immediately. And as you can see, hopefully by the close of the week, we'll have achieved 7.5 million in terms of raise so far. So considering the market, it's pretty impressive. And if you want to get involved, Telegram and Discord are very, very active at the moment. I had my proudest moment this week. My head was superimposed on a moon with a rocket heading towards it. My parents, of course, were very, very proud. So
that's how you know you've made it, right? When you start.
I've been waiting for that moment all my life, I believe. So
that's awesome. So I posted all those links. So yeah, you come to the website, the Discord, the Telegram. I mean, these are kind of common in Web3. These are how you get involved. You can follow on Twitter for announcements. I'll leave that link too. These are all in the description as well. Yeah, and 7.5 million in a pre-sale is kind of unheard of in the markets the way they are. A couple of questions I have about that. First off, what do you attribute that success to? You know, why have you been so successful? So many other people are having trouble with pre-sales, and there's just not a lot of capital going around. What do you make of that?
I think it's because it's a very understandable, very simple model to understand as a business. So I think something that doesn't require heavy explaining is always a good thing. It becomes a frictionless kind of investment at that point. We have very, very good marketing. Our team has done an incredibly good job covering as many bases as possible. Lots of articles being written. We've been featured on Cointelegraph already. I just think that gaming fundamentally will be the strongest narrative in the next run. And we are building in a bear, and we are building at the bottom effectively right now. So the risk reward, I think, has a lot to do with it. I can't imagine us going much further south as a market. Famous last words, but there you go.
Right.
But there's definitely more upside to downside in the market positioning of where we are right now. And gaming tends to get catapulted off the back of the larger caps, the Bitcoin runs. So we're kind of a delayed fuse in this space from what I've seen before. And I think people are wise to that. So I think other pre-sales are struggling maybe because of the narrative or there's just not enough eyeballs on these areas. We've all seen node season, we've all seen various things, and this is a platform that supports any and every project in the space, and that's going to have value.
Okay, very good. Yeah, and by the way, I'm a terrible YouTuber. First off, I haven't said it for a while. Please hit the like button. Please ask your questions. Also, I just realized my mic was not plugged in. So you were just getting my iMac mic. Now you got the big boy. So I'm not a very good YouTuber, but I'm working on it. Hopefully, you give me a couple more years, I'll have it figured out. So here's a good question about the pre-sale. Is it enough to just buy into the pre-sale to get rewards? Or do you need to stake? Or what other ways are there to kind of gain? Or do you just buy the pre-sale token and that's it? Or how does that work?
Yeah, so if you want access to the staking pool that's released shortly after we complete our pre-sale, absolutely, your wallet will be snapshotted. We'll know your wallet address, and you'll have access to that. I think there's a reference there to the giveaway. The giveaways, if you go to the giveaway section on our website, you'll see full instructions there of how you can enter those giveaways. And they've been very popular. We're giving away retro arcade machines as prizes. Metacade tokens. That's been a good fun part of this pre-sale, and I do think has helped contribute to the success so far.
Okay, love it. Yeah, retro arcade machines. That's a great giveaway. I love that. Let's see. Are there any plans to expand the platform beyond gaming, such as integrating with other Web3 projects or offering additional services?
Not in the immediate term. Gaming itself, if you look to the previous question around will you get to Steam levels of 10,000 games, I mean, we get anywhere near that, we've achieved our goals. But gaming is the primary strength and the narrative that we have a singular focus on right now. You never say never, but businesses have to pivot, be agile. If there's obvious revenue opportunities to continue to sustain and grow the project, we will look at them. And we're also talking about projects that have a gaming association. So it's not just games we'll support. If there's good business ideas or protocols or projects that complement gaming, we will look at them. But for now, it's all about the games.
Okay. Yeah. The Russian proverb, he who chases two rabbits catches neither. So exactly. I like that. You just focus and be the best at what you're doing. That did remind me, we talked about calls to action for community members. What if you're a game developer who's like, oh, I've got an idea for a game, or I've already got a game in the works, or I have a Web 2 game I want to bring over to Web 3. What should they do to kind of become part of this? What would be their call to action?
Please reach out straight away to us, Discord or Telegram. That will find its way directly to me. I'm going to be personally looking at that element in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, if there's any aspiring game developers that have something in the works, or you have something which is finished but hasn't had enough eyeballs on it, that's an easy solution for everyone involved. We can get your game in front of people quickly, even if it's just to take the pride in seeing that game being played by others, which is the reason why the guys do it. So yeah, please reach out in our two primary groups, and that will definitely get through to me. I'm very active in Telegram and will be in Discord very shortly as well.
Okay, very good. Yeah, and that got my brain spinning on just different partnerships. Maybe we'll talk about this off air, but there's a lot of, teaching people how to code is something that I feel like would be a great part of a gaming community. Is like, hey, you have an idea for a game? Well, here's some resources to help you learn how to get started on this. Like, rather than trying to find a dev team and paying them $20,000, which you probably don't have, teach yourself to code. You can build whatever you want then. And so a lot of potential partnerships there.
Yeah, no, agreed. Great idea.
Okay, let's see. We got a lot of questions from the community. This is awesome. Yeah, keep them coming. I'll get through as many of these as we can. Will Metacade look to build a talented in-house team of game developers, or keep developments contracted with outside developers? So you kind of touched on this before, but what would you answer to that?
The initial strategy is to work with third parties, outside developers. Our core team, which we're building, and we've been in the process of hiring again this week, are very much focused on the development of the platform and the solutions available to other projects. That getting the revenue streams moving and scaling is the secret to the success in this business. So over time, if there's an opportunity once we're established to start looking at developing our own games, that's definitely a possibility. Right now, we definitely feel more comfortable issuing a meta grant to said game developer to get their vision completed and get that into the arcade.
Okay, very good. Another question, and yeah, I've experienced this firsthand, but the tokenomics are very bad in play-to-earn games. Do you have any thoughts or plans on kind of helping the Web3 community work that out or fix that? I mean, it's kind of been a broken ecosystem for a while. What would you guys how are you planning to help that ecosystem?
I would agree with that statement. A lot of the tokenomics are almost force-fed or retrofitted into games. It's like we have a game, we have some tokenomics, we think let's try and mix it all up and get it working, and not many have succeeded. I think what you have to do is look at the leading lights in the industry, like Illuvium have made huge shifts forward. I really like what Dreams Quest are doing right now. Definitely one to watch for the future. They're doing everything the right way, in my opinion. So the tokenomics themselves, I think the tokenomics will become less and less of a factor. I think in-game assets will become the primary driver if they haven't done already. And I think the play to earn element, it might just be a simple access point where the tokenomics, I'd imagine, get actually really stripped back to a light version of what we're seeing right now. Because as soon as you have heavy play to earn mechanics in a game, it causes friction. And as a result, those games tend to lose their interest. So yeah, I'm hoping in wave 2 of the gaming space, we do see probably some cleaner and more concise tokenomics. The behavioral economics I'm not going to go into today, but in gaming, it's all about the gaming loops and the fun element. And I hope that comes back to the forefront moving forward.
Yep. I always tell people what I've seen is that there's different currencies when you're talking about a game. And so one of them is fun. One of them can be, dollars. But the problem with most play to earn games we've seen to this point is they're not fun. So no one's playing to have fun. They're only playing to earn. And when everyone is playing to earn, well, then it just doesn't work out, because that's not how economies work. You can't have everyone going after the same thing. So, but once we get some fun games where, hey, some people are playing to have fun, some people are playing to earn, some people are playing to progress, some people are playing for community, then it works out. The economy tends to work out better. So we just need some fun games. Honestly, that's kind of what we've been lacking. So,
and they're typically the most simple of games as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. Let's see. Question: can you tell us what you think of paying users in stable coins instead of MCADE? How do you guys think through that? Is it going to vary?
Yeah, I think the one thing I've mentioned in my earlier kind of community addresses, AMAs, things back in probably November, December, before the turn of the year, is using MCADE as an in-game currency. If and when all the utilities and all of the revenue streams function on the platform and price appreciation occurs, you actually price yourself out of your own game. Because an in-game currency has to effectively become stable in its own right. That would be counterintuitive to the MCADE token. So I don't ultimately see the MCADE token in-game every single time. And if it is, there'll be a particular utility for it. So a stable coin, or in particular, the currency of the game developer, is likely to be the outcome in our arcade. We'll have an arcade with lots of games in which probably have their own in-game currency. That will not only secure and protect the MCADE token, but it will allow it to price appreciate based on the utilities and the revenue streams that we have. So it's a very good question.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Will it launch by end of March? Maybe that's we'll broaden that question. What's going to happen after the pre-sale's over? What should they buy the pre-sale token? What should they kind of expect afterwards? Do you guys know when launch? What should people expect?
Yeah, of course. So we'll come to a conclusion end of March. As quickly as we can possibly turn around the go live. Typically, and again, I don't want devs falling over here, but within a kind of 24-hour period, you'd make the balances claimable, and then we'll be launching on Uniswap. One thing is very, very clear, and our community have been brilliant in this, is to educate me on all of the pre-sales they've been in elsewhere. And we effectively did a deep dive on every pre-sale, looked at what worked, what didn't work. And we certainly feel far more comfortable having a very simplistic launch into Uniswap. It's a DEX, there's no third-party control. The market can then find itself, and the price and discovery can take part without really any complications. And I think that's the best way forward, particularly when you're taking a token to market. So end of March, and then we go live.
Okay. And again, not holding you to this, but what's the pre-sale price right now? And then what do you kind of expect the launch price? Like why should someone get in pre-sale rather than just kind of wait, make sure it's all working okay and get in later?
Yeah, so we've done the pre-sale in stages. There'll be X amount of tokens available each stage, though that price then rises incrementally towards the end. So naturally it curves up as you get towards the end of the pre-sale. Listing the price will be probably in the region of sort of 10% of that final price as well. A lot of launches we've had a look at in the last 18 months have priced themselves into almost a real challenge from day one. So we're going to keep things very, very sensible. We've got a very nice spread in token holders, over 5,000 wallets already, with a nice sensible balance across the board. So we're not seeing any major control, and we're not seeing anything that kind of worries us in terms of a successful launch. So right now it's very much a community-backed project, which is fantastic.
Okay, very good. Let's see, staking locked tokens. Will this be funded through stable coins? I'm holding for long-term. Love the project. Can't wait to see our bright future. Keep up the awesome work.
Oh, thank you, Shay.
Yeah.
So staking will be available. The first staking pool will be available shortly after launch. So that'll be April, hopefully within a week. Again, another dev's fallen over. And this will be funded with MCADE tokens. So this will be a unique pool to the pre-salers to say thank you. And they'll be able to accrue some free tokens in that staking pool. So that allocation's already been made. That allocation has come from us reducing our initial raise target as well. So we released some PR. We talked to the community. We brought that goal down slightly. And those tokens which were planned for sale are going to go into that staking pool and be delivered to the community.
Okay. Will there be any opportunities for users to earn MCADE tokens through activities other than contributing to the community, such as playing games or completing tasks? Although I would argue that is contributing to the community.
Yeah.
But how all will there be to earn the MCADE?
So the whole purpose of Metacade over the next 18 months is to hire and onboard as many community members into active roles and projects as possible. That will ultimately then become a choice where people can work on a project, become an ambassador in their local area, go and talk to various meetups and spread the word. There'll be varying roles and opportunities in the community, and there'll be an opportunity there to earn potentially MCADE tokens outside of the typical activities. The one thing we're very focused on is ensuring that game studios and developers come to us, they purchase our services in the MCADE token, and then naturally we'll be able to filter that down into the community. So there's going to be some really nice consistent circulation of the token, and it's going to be used to access services as well. If we see changes in behaviors and economics, we can then very easily flip to taking stable coins for services, maybe do some buybacks. The amount of projects I've seen that actually kind of live or die by their white paper, there's just that real solid rigidity that says, we're doing this, we've said we're going to do this. And some of those projects have failed because they don't pivot. We're going to stay fairly agile in those areas because we need to react to what's happening in the market.
Actually, that's really smart. That's a great point. Yeah, a lot of projects treat the white paper like it's a syllabus in a college course. And it's like, this is exactly what we're going to do. That's actually not how traditional business plans ever work out. This is the first time, actually, you saying that's the first time I've realized that why do we do that? Why do we pigeonhole ourselves into this is how we're going to do it? If you change, the community tends to kind of get uneasy. Well, that's not what you said you're going to do. Yeah. That's not how successful businesses run. So good point.
No, absolutely not.
Awesome. How will the platform ensure a positive and inclusive community environment for all users, regardless of their background or experience with Web3 technology? So a lot of crypto communities tend to get hostile. We'll use that word. How do you guys intend to kind of keep the platform positive and just, there's no bad questions and everybody's kind of welcome here? How do you plan to do that?
So on the platform, you'll have your gamer profile, which you effectively can become anyone you wish in that sense, and everyone has their own gamer tag names. There's some very interesting names in our community already, but in making it inclusive, I think the most important thing to understand with Metacade and other projects are that the whole purpose of creating opportunity in the community is for anyone at any level to be able to engage. And some of the gigs and some of the tasks that will be available, you don't have to have a Web3 background. You don't need to know gaming inside out. A lot of the work and a lot of the opportunity will be a gaming company saying, come and play our new gaming loop or try out our beta and just give us some honest feedback on what you think of it. Now, you don't need to have any prerequisite skills for that. You can just go in, enjoy, and decide if it's any good or not. And that way anyone can get involved. The education piece, you must have been in our meeting on Monday, but being able to upskill and educate people in this environment, if people generally want to work in this space, we really hope we can facilitate a lot of opportunity for people. And everything is about creating a level playing field and allowing people to run towards their goals. Yep,
absolutely. Love that. Can you explain how the meta grants scheme works and how MCADE token holders will be involved in the decision-making process? And before you answer, I want to clarify, because I've been confused about this. In America, scheme is bad. Okay, scheme is a negative thing, but I've learned that for in the UK, scheme is not a bad thing. Scheme just means something you're doing. So Americans, don't get confused. He's not saying that it's a meta grants scheme. It just means, how does meta grants work?
Yeah. Scheme is definitely one of those words. I think there's 2 or 3 others, but we'll share those off air, I think. But how the meta grant system or vote up will work is that this will be the first element of our DAO governance that we'll be introducing. So again, DAOs originally or initially have been far too rigid and worked and not worked. I've seen treasury decisions in DeFi being voted in by, I mean, a DAO maybe shouldn't be used to make large investments, things like that. So in our world, imagine a Kickstarter where you've got a lot of projects which you might want to pledge towards or do something like that. Metacade token holders will be able to vote on promising projects and vote them up for consideration. Now, I think that in the first iteration, the community will vote up to kind of a finalist level. And then we'll potentially look at getting some key people in from the industry to kind of almost like an X Factor or something along those lines, where an expert panel can make a decision on which project gets the meta grant. I think that'd be really good for the community, for the PR. And then over time, the DAO itself will take the right shape, and ultimately it will become the community who decides who gets what.
Okay, very good. Yeah, questions still pouring in. That's awesome. I appreciate you guys. You guys have way better questions than I do, so I appreciate you guys. Can you explain how the leaderboards and rankings will work and how users can increase their chances of winning the big prizes?
Yeah, so the leaderboards and rankings are actually, that area of our platform will be to effectively data aggregate all the other open source information of projects coming up. People currently use tools like Dex Screener, Dex Tools, really great tools, DeFi Llama, all of those. So the leaderboards themselves will be an aggregation of the trending games coming through, the pre-sales potentially. And that information is readily available across the internet. And the most important thing is that Metacade's whole purpose is to aggregate everything that's going on and bring it to one place. So the leaderboard itself will be for you to look at what's hot, what's not, what games to look at, make recommendations of the games we should be going after and listing in our arcade. And in terms of prizes and tournaments, there'll be kind of independent posts of, we're running a tournament in this game. We'll be putting up MCADE tokens as the prize. That's where the gaming community is brilliant, because you've got so much utility. It's just, where do you start?
Yep, absolutely. Funny Turo said, would love for James to have team building events. I think similar to what you guys are doing. So Funny Turo, please, I'm open to that. Someone just needs to take the reins because I got too much going on. But Funny Turo, maybe you could be that. You do the team building, plan the team building events for my community. That'd be awesome. Sachin would like to know, I love that shirt. Merch soon? Actually, I've got probably about 5 or 6 questions asking about merch. Yeah. So what's the status on the merch?
So this is officially where all the dev team falls over now. So every time I go into our Telegram, it's where's the hoodie, where's the t-shirt, where's the beanie, where is anything with Metacade slapped on it, really. The good news is we are moving ahead with a merch store. That will be up on our site. I'll let the community know next week. But we started the process of building it. I'm going to speak with the team on Monday. But yes, merchandise is coming to a home near you. We have distribution set up. As you can see, we have some of the early examples. It's a really cool brands. And I think a lot of people say they'll wear it to their meetings and spread the word if they got a t-shirt. So yes, merch is on its way, I can assure you.
Okay, very good. We have a couple questions asking for more info about the team. Do you want to talk about, how much of the team is doxed? I think people get concerned about, oh, the devs are going to steal the money, things like that. Do you want to just talk about the team and who in it is doxed and why people shouldn't be concerned about the devs stealing the money or anything like that? Yeah,
so our team is referred as the meta heads. Probably because of my head, probably more than anything, and they dress me lovely in a purple tank top on there, as you can see. Thank you for that. But yeah, the team itself, the doxxed team, as you can see, have all gone through a CertiK KYC process. CertiK did a full smart contract audit, as well as a team KYC. We're 13 weeks in, so it's very natural that teams change, increase, contract. We have some new faces joining us next week. One particular gentleman, which I'll make public very shortly. Let's just say ex-EA Sports, FIFA, Engine Gaming, helping me build the beta. So that's
Awesome.
very cool. So very pleased to have him on board. Hopefully he's watching now. So yeah, we have 2 technical agencies we're contracted to. We've got a really great group of marketing individuals as well, as you can see from our pre-sale. So it's not for everyone to be public. I have had the conversation with our community and also sat with the team and the originators, the founding partners, so to speak, of this. Tony's played a huge part. I see Tony every day, our head of data. He's the one that had to listen to all my complaints about how crypto gaming works, and this is where the idea originally came from. So the team itself will continue to expand. There will also be changes to that team. Most people are on probationary periods naturally at the moment because we're only 13 weeks in. But the most important thing is we want to start hiring from our community fairly shortly. So coming into Q2, I'm hoping to see community members on that page. That would be awesome. And we've got some ideas around that for the next AMA.
Yeah, that's great. Actually, the next question was, do you need a COO? So yeah, if people are wanting, are you hiring? Is that just something people on Discord could go check it? I mean, COO is not necessarily something you just go apply for, but
yeah.
What if people who want to get involved, just hop in Discord?
Yeah, pop in Discord. I'm after the perfect CMO at the moment, or head of marketing. I think everyone is. But our marketing has gone so well with the collection of people that we put together. We're going to start bringing that more in-house. I think that's a good idea. Like I said, I've got a UI UX product lead as a result of me moving into a CEO role. But I'm going to get an opportunity board up fairly shortly and primarily ask the community if anyone has the skills to apply. But yeah, Discord more than likely is the best route outside of Telegram. And yeah, if you want to throw your hat in the ring to come and work at Metacade, the doors are open.
Okay. How does an influencer, asking for a friend, but how does an influencer get to be part of the Meta clan, if there's any influencers watching?
Yeah, so the influencers we have are mainly Twitch influencers because of the gaming space. We started, the influencer element started fairly small. A lot of these guys have got great channels. They've come to the meetups. But if an influencer wants to get involved or really likes what we're doing, again, reach out to our marketing team. That will come directly through to me as a decision. I'm very keen to start looking to expand that, not just in a local sense, but across global territories. Some of our community are already doing that off their own back. They're going to find meetups. They're trying to put Metacade in front of the meetups. The Bitcoin maximalists aren't too fussed about it, but more of our altcoin groups seem to be pretty interested. So yeah, like I say, in 18 months, based on our roadmap, we want to be able to hand the keys to Metacade, ideally to the community, and have most of the roles and opportunities in the business from the community hire. So really, really important that you start reaching out if you feel you have something to offer.
Okay, very good. Okay, next question here we got. Well, actually, this isn't a question, but glasses selection is always on point, fearless leader. So yeah, nice job on the glasses. They do look good.
It's my only accessory I can use, really.
Let's see. Oh, this is a good question. What should the project achieve for you to consider that it has been a great success, apart from the tokenomics?
Genuine sustainability and the ability to offer more in terms of growing the business. I've been in crypto 4.5 years now, and arguably enjoyed the speculation of some of the projects. But when you really get down to the substance of the businesses, I think the time is now to build really strong, proper businesses in this space. So for me to have a business that I walk into every day where revenues are coming in, we're deciding on allocations, our arcade is scaling. More importantly, people are getting opportunity whereas maybe they haven't had a chance before. I just want to see the community take it in the direction they want to take it. Our ideas are good, their ideas will be better. And it's really important to listen to that. The one thing I learned years ago is just because you've had a good idea doesn't mean it's a good one.
Very true. I've learned that the hard way many times. No, that's awesome. Yeah, and by the way, audience, if I don't get to some of your questions, it may have already been asked. I don't want to go over an hour, so we've got about 10 minutes left. The replay of this will be available right when I'm done. I'll put in chapters so you can skip around to get to the different questions, but I'm skipping over a few that I feel like we already touched on. So that's the reason for that. Let's see. Oh, this is a great question. Actually, I'm curious about this for some other projects I'm working with. But listing and market making tokens on centralized exchanges is very costly. How will you balance that? For example, I have a project that wants to get onto KuCoin, but KuCoin charges like $1 million, 800,000 if you have a family discount. So how do you balance that? Like, you want to get into these big exchanges. I noticed you guys are on MEXC, which is kind of like I'd call that kind of a mid-range. But how do you balance that, the cost of getting on those big exchanges, but then also the exposure that you get?
Yeah, it's a really interesting one. Great question. We've toyed with this idea. We have 2 listings already. Our goal for Q1 was to get to 3, and I still think that's going to happen. But when you hit the really, really top tier, the KuCoins, the Binances, etc., the expense of that is, in some cases, mind-blowing, considering the stage you're at with your project. The one thing I will say is when projects list on multiple centralized exchanges fairly quickly, I think that overall does quite a lot of damage to the actual price discovery. You create really thin trading volumes, you create arbitrage opportunities. It really does kind of throw the direction and strategy of if you have your token in one place with deep liquidity, you'll generally find the market behaves better. So hence why we're going with Uniswap to start with, because we don't want third-party disruption in an initial launch. Now, we will then stage our listings on the exchanges that we're working with over a sensible period of time, so not to have a domino effect on anything else that we're doing. But yeah, the $1 million cost on the exchange that you referred to isn't unheard of, and I've seen larger numbers. We've got to really weigh up the benefit of it. Is the exposure worth it? Could that $1 million go into product or community? These are all things we'll take real care with, because I think an exchange in a bull market just offers extra liquidity, extra eyes, extra trading capability. It just generates more. In a bear market, it sometimes has the opposite effect. So yeah, we're very, very concise with our thoughts around this, and the listings have been great. We're very pleased with the partners that we have, but we won't be bundling it all in and saying, look, we're everywhere. I think that would be a big mistake.
Yep. Nope. Totally agree. That's what we're finding with other projects, is because not only do you have to pay to get listed, but then you have to provide the liquidity. So it's like, okay, I might pay $1 million to get listed on KuCoin, but then I can only afford 100K in liquidity, which then makes the price all crazy. And so it's just a tough thing. One thing I'll say too, to people who are asking, a few people asking about, hey, when are you going to get on Binance? Those things. When coins get big enough and there gets to be enough demand and enough volume, Coinbase and Binance and those people will come to you rather than you having to go to those. So if you as a community just, be active and keep growing the community, the goal is that Binance doesn't say, hey, pay us $5 million and you can come be listed on Binance, but they'll come to you and say, hey, we'll provide even some of the liquidity. Can we please list you? That's more the position that you want to be in. So
yeah, that's spot on. If you make yourself big enough and successful enough, they'll knock on your door. And when you do get on one of them, all the other exchanges want to list you.
Yep.
So it's literally getting your head down and doing a good job, and then knowing that knock will come, and when it does, multiple doors will open. Burning all of your capital on listings is not the best way to get out the blocks, particularly if you've got a good community and a good wallet spread in your market, then one place to trade is a sensible starting point at the very least. So
yep. Nope. Totally agree. Yeah. Like the Bitcoin team did not approach any of these exchanges and say, we'll pay you to get listed. I mean, they said, hey, we want to list, and so that's the goal. Anti-botting measures, that's something we've seen in a lot of these pre-sales is, right on launch, the bots take over and do their thing with the arbitrage opportunities, like you were saying. I know you probably can't go into specifics on the anti-botting measures, or else people will cover them. But what are you guys? You're looking into that? Are you pretty confident that the launch will go well?
Yes, very confident the launch will go well from a seamless delivery perspective. The price discovery will be price discovery. And the most important thing is we're in one place on a DEX. The anti-botting measures, if anyone's got a new and revolutionary solution to that, please reach out. That would be fantastic. We're actually very proactive about talking about our launch in the community. I think it's something you have to get ahead of. And really just talk through the solutions. And you only really know what the solution is by looking at what's happened in the last, say, 6 to 9 months, and seeing what launches have been successful and which haven't. But anti-botting, bots will trade. Forex is probably 95% bot trading anyway on the microsecond charts. So something you can't truly overcome, unfortunately.
Yep, absolutely. Did you find the people that voted against you as the CEO? That must be an inside community joke.
Yes, yeah, there was 6%. It keeps me up at night to this day. And slowly but surely we're uncovering them.
that sums up the life of an influencer, though, because you might have a video where you have tens of thousands of positive comments of people saying, wow, thank you for this. Thank you for this. And then you have one guy who's like, you're terrible. What are you doing? And that's the one that you're at night thinking, why did he think I was so terrible?
You have to have very thick skin to do what we do and be in the public domain.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, a couple more questions and then we'll wrap up here. If you have any last minute, really great questions, feel free to throw those up. Sorry if this is redundant, maybe not. Do you have a system or plan to help prevent the token value from going way up and then tanking quickly? Because that's another, we've been burned so much in crypto. Everybody knows what are the potential problems, but we've seen this where on launch, things will kind of, boom. And then as the hype kind of dies down, the token just kind of then takes this downward trend into nothingness. Have you guys thought about that, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's always an element of the uncontrollable, which is the reason why market makes the price. The way you can negate this is to have what I would class as a fair launch, or certainly a decentralized launch in this case, because the market themselves, the wallet averages in our entire ecosystem, the bulk of people would have to move in one direction at the same time to have that kind of influence on the chart. I think also when you've got large founder wallets and external wallets which you can't have control over, I think that allows that kind of, I would say, manipulation. With us, 70% of our supply hopefully will be in the hands of the community, so they ultimately will decide on price discovery. We don't have founder wallets, we don't have any large VCs, or we're independent, so we don't have anything that we're looking over our shoulder thinking, okay, at any given point, a large amount of token supply might enter the space. That's the reason why we've designed it that way. So it's a very fair point, because I've seen these, I've been on the right side of them and I've been on the wrong side of them. And you never know which way it's going to go. But looking at what we're doing and looking at the genuine utility and revenue streams, I genuinely believe we've got a really good chance of good, constant stability.
Yep, and there's a reason that they're called market makers, right? Because you don't kind of totally know. It's kind of up to the market to make itself. Like you said, there's going to be a time of price discovery where it's like, well, hey, a lot of it'll probably depend on how the markets themselves are doing. Like you mentioned, if Bitcoin's going up, the Metacade token will probably go up. If Bitcoin's going down, it'll probably be going down, and that's part of just the challenges that we have in this space. So.
And we've noticed an inverse relationship in pre-sale. One of our guys did some really great data with Tony, and it shows that when Bitcoin is rising, pre-sales sometimes can slow. And when Bitcoin goes sideways and takes a bit of a break, pre-sales pick up because people are taking profits and redistributing. So there's lots of interesting correlations of why things trend up, trend down. And yeah, and what you want is just a successful launch where price discovery is beneficial to everyone, but you want that stability as soon as possible after.
Right. Yep. And once some of those revenue streams start kicking in, that can help, support the community and things like that. So, okay, well, let's go ahead and close there. We still have other questions. These are great suggestions, great questions. I just don't like to go over an hour, or else people that are watching the replay get discouraged. They see, 2 hours. I can't do that. So we're going to wrap up there.
Talk about,
Yep. If you have more questions, again, I'm leaving the link for Discord and for Telegram. But please, 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 all your suggestions, all your questions, the more the merrier. So definitely go hop in Telegram, go hop in Discord, ask all those things. Just to remind people of the calls to action, because again, that's the most important thing. For the free ones, or hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, maybe think about subscribing. If I could only do gaming videos, I would probably do that. Like I love this. It's been a big part of my childhood and everything. So love this. And then, like the video, subscribe, hop into the Discord, hop into the Telegram. Again, those are all free things. The pre-sale is still going here. 84.5% sold. Again, that's huge pre-sale amount. So that's very impressive to see. And then if you're a programmer, a developer, who wants to get involved, again, hop in Discord and just, kind of ask, just say what you are and what you're wanting, and the team will help get you in there. So, but yeah, I appreciate you guys in the audience. Great questions. Appreciate the community, the Metacade community. I can tell that you guys are here and that you're a strong community. So appreciate you guys.
They've turned up in force today.
Yes. And I love that. Love that. Great questions. And Russell, thank you for hopping on. Thank you for building in the space. Thanks for letting me be a part of the journey, and hopefully we can work together. We'll have to chat about if I can become one of the Meta Clan or something like that, because I'd love to just be involved as you guys grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much, and appreciate all you guys, and hope everybody has a great rest of your Friday. Thank you so much.
Great. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you.